Hello and welcome to Allegedly Astrology. Each week we break down the astrology that happened during some of the biggest scandals and events in history.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening. If you would like to support us more, you can leave us a 5-star review and subscribe on whatever podcast platform you listen on.
And if you do leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and DM us a screenshot of that review, we'll make you a custom meme of your big three and send you a quick write-up about it.
We also have a bunch of really cool stuff on TeePublic, so if you want to go there for sweatshirts, t-shirts, stickers, etc., please do.
And you can follow us. We're Allegedly Astrology on Instagram, Reddit, Hey Hero, and TikTok, and Allegedly Astro on Twitter. Make sure to check out our website, allegedlyastrology.com, to learn more about us, check out some transcripts for some of the episodes, and to book a reading with Dana.
Yes. So today we're going to get into probably one of the messiest relationships we've ever covered on this podcast, which if you've listened to some previous episodes, you know that is saying a lot.
It's our specialty.
So Dana, yes, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson.
Damn.
Woo, yes, this one's a doozy, but this relationship can best be described as an actual soap opera. Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson got together in 2016, which, wow, honestly feels like this saga has been going on for 10 plus years. But since then, they've had a child, broken up, gotten back together, broke up again, all due to Tristan's very public and embarrassing cheating. And so now we know some of this top line drama. Let's learn more about each one of them.
Okay, so we all know who Khloe Kardashian is. She's a star of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She's a socialite. She's a model. She's an entrepreneur. So what are her big three?
Okay, Khloe was born on June 27th, 1984, 10:55 p.m. in LA, California.
LA, California.
LA, California. You know, that LA. She has a Cancer sun, a Gemini moon, and an Aquarius rising. So Cancer suns are ruled by the moon, which is the fastest moving planet in the zodiac, and it cycles every 28 days, which means Cancer suns are used to like constant mood shifts. And they can be moody, but it's also a sign of the mother, and she seems, you know, maternal, but also it's acquainted with like the dark feminine archetypes, right? So like a jilted, or not jilted, what's the word when you get cheated on all the time? That, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And like Lana Del Rey's a Cancer, and that's like the theme of all of her songs, right? So anyway, but one underrated trait of Cancers is that they're like super, super funny. Cancers spend a lot of time like identifying their own emotions and constantly changing feelings. And so they like can readily identify that sort of vibe in like any situation. And everyone knows that Khloe is the personality of the family. And from what I remember, she like was the closest with Kendall and Kylie in the early seasons.
That's what I was going to say. She's like mom vibes to them, for sure.
And like, yeah, the other ones weren't really hands-on. Her Mercury and Venus are also conjunct her sun. So like the loving energy of Venus and the communicative energy of Mercury are like subsumed in her sun, making it like it's both are related to her goals ultimately. And then she has her Gemini moon, which adds a layer of contrast to everything I just said. The moon in Gemini is also hilarious and observant. But the moon is emotions and like your needs. And unlike Cancer, which is a water sign, Gemini is an air sign. So Gemini like unconsciously resists emotions at all costs and persists in trying to understand them, which is what they think experiencing them means. I know this. And to complicate things, Cancer is also ruled by the moon. So her sun and her Venus and Mercury are all answering to this energy. But her moon will be ruled by this Cancer Mercury, so it's kind of like some sort of affinity there. This might like show up as like cracking really funny jokes about your feelings or like passive aggressive behavior, because resisting the urge to feel can like sort of just put you in that really moody state, and then it gets like weird. So she also has her Aquarius rising, and this is going to be more on the same page with her like Gemini moon, since they're both air signs. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and an air sign. So it's like restrictive and disciplined and relates to human connection. Aquarius is like the populist of the zodiac. And so like they root for the everyman, which kind of sounds funny since she's a Kardashian, but like she's also the most relatable Kardashian.
Truth.
Like across the board. Unless you're, I don't know, the devil, in which case maybe you get Chris. I don't know. But so all respect to Chris. Aquarians are like wonderful friends because they're terrific listeners and can remain like totally detached from a situation while still hearing about it. And this like enables them to provide pretty objective insight. and like help people without projecting their own experience onto it, which like Cancer can complicate this sort of vibe just because Cancer is like the sign of attachment. But overall, like we've seen her be like a great friend to people. Maybe not so much to herself, her own friendship to herself might not be great. But her sun is in aversion to her moon and her rising. And aversions are also known as like inconjuncts or semi-sextiles and quincunxes. And this means that the planets and points cannot see each other and thus have no relationship to each other. So although her sun and moon are in Antitia together, which means they're equidistant from the solstice point, which is like the summer solstice. This is deeper astro jargon, but like look it up if you want to know more insight about your chart. It'll probably help you and make you feel better. But her sun and moon like might be like covert allies because they're in Antitia, but like her Aquarius rising is on a different page and it's the one that's driving the ship. It's totally different motives than her Cancer sun. And so she was also born 8 days after Mars stationed direct in Scorpio, and like Martian energy is very loud in her life is what that means. Because like a planet that's stationary is just, it's slow, so it just feels loud. So overall, this can like lead to like power struggles in your life, and especially since it's in her 10th house of publicity and she's a famous person.
Interesting. Wow. That all kind of tracks with what she's going through, but let's focus our attention onto Tristan. Tristan Thompson is a Canadian professional basketball player and professional cheater. He's played for a few NBA teams, mostly the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he's been bounced around to a few teams lately and is currently playing for our hometown team, the Chicago Bulls, which we absolutely do not condone. So what is his big three?
I am anti-Tristan on my team.
Very.
So he was born on March 13th, 1991 in Toronto, Canada, but we don't know what time. But we do know that he is a Pisces sun and an Aquarius moon. And Pisces suns are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of abundance, faith, and good fortune. Jupiter provides, and like this makes Pisces a dreamer. They're like super empathetic. They might be very tired, although he seems to have a lot of energy because he's a professional athlete. But anyway, like...
And professional cheater, which arguably takes more energy.
Yeah, for sure. Emotional energy, which expends the most. But Pisces are great at expending emotional energy to their own, detriment. Although like this, yeah. So being like a dreamer, being like very empathetic can also make you generally attractive to people, right? And he's hot. But Pisces also was like the victim of a zodiac, truly, which can also result in them feeling like a victim even when they are the perpetrator.
Classic.
Yeah. But Aquarius moons are different. The moon is emotions and needs and our bodies, and Aquarius avoids commitment at all costs. And they feel safest when they like know they belong to no one. And Tristan obviously exploits this. And so this combination sort of, I think, really kind of represents him, although there's obviously way more layers in his chart, which we can get to later.
Wow.
Yikes.
That Aquarius moon. So the drama in this relationship started literally from like the moment it began at second zero. Khloe and Tristan began dating in 2016, but before he was dating Khloe, he was dating Jordan Craig. And Jordan Craig is a health and wellness influencer / blogger, which like all of us are these days. But the story, which the parties involved cannot agree on, goes that Tristan broke up with Jordan and then realized she was pregnant. And then he started dating Khloe.
Yes. And surprise, like Sarah said, there's a lot of speculation around how this all went down, starting with that Tristan actually cheated on Jordan, but Khloe and Tristan deny all of this vehemently. Khloe says she was set up on a blind date with Tristan by a friend. They went on a few dates, and then she found out he had a pregnant ex. She thought it was a red flag. Spoiler alert, because it was. But then he like showed her texts. He had her talk to his friends, his own mother. He put her on calls with his lawyers.
It's crazy.
All to prove.
Talk to my mom.
That part is weird.
Really
the lawyers
weird.
were
like, talk to my mother and my lawyer. What a freak.
Like, what if you had gone on a few dates with someone, found out something shady about them, and then they were like, no, it's fine. Talk to my lawyer. Like,
I mean, it really depends on what year of my life we're talking about, but yeah.
But yeah, he did all of this to prove that him and Jordan had broken up before him and Khloe met.
And because this whole situation is just messy as all hell, Jordan was like, I never even knew we had broken up and you were dating Khloe. So she assumed they were together.
Wow.
Which, yikes. I know. Like, what do you even do? But regardless of whatever happened, Tristan broke up with Jordan. He makes it official with Khloe. So what are Khloe in Tristan's synastry? What's it like?
And to look at synastry, we are going to take Khloe's chart and Tristan's chart and overlap them, and that gives us an idea about their relationship dynamics.
Okay, so Tristan's Aquarius moon and Saturn are in Khloe's ascendant and first house. And I know I said that Aquarius moons would rather eat glass than commit, but this is good for commitment for them. I think Saturn is the planet of commitment and hard work, and the moon is where we're in our feelings. And like the fact that he has these co-present could contribute to his athletic prowess, actually, I think. But anyway, so his the ascendant is who we are in a chart. And so this kind of makes Tristan able to commit to Khloe, or at least like believe that he can for a period of time, which I guess he did, right? Tristan's Jupiter is in her 7th house.
Cute.
Right, which will enhance like everything I said above. Jupiter is the greater benefic. It's in the 7th, like it's really good for synastry. The 7th is committed partnerships, and Jupiter is a sign of goodwill and faith and just sort of like belief. So you really believe in this relationship, and both partners will have sort of like different parts of that energy. Also, their suns are both in water signs, which indicates affinity through trine, and trines are ease, just sort of like it feels good to be around each other. But Tristan's Mars in Gemini is conjunct Khloe's moon and co-present with her Chiron, North Node, and IC. So Mars is sex and the moon is our body. So this could be good for sex and like a couple who gets like horny from fighting. But Mars is also severance and abrasion, and the moon is like feelings and safety. And Chiron is our primordial wound. The North Node is a point of increase and significance. And the IC is the lowest part of the charts and the deepest part of the sky. It relates to great beginnings, great endings, as well as like our early childhood programming. So we know that Kris Jenner had affairs. I think we know this at least. Maybe I'm making this up. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we know this.
I think
She did.
Yeah, she had affairs when Khloe was young. And I think like maybe this impacted Khloe's psyche to the degree that like maybe his behavior like triggers her anxiety, or just triggers sort of like that early thing where like she wants to avoid it, but she just keeps getting more of it in her life. And I know this because I just started studying Jung. Anyway.
Well, 3 months later, Jordan gives birth to Tristan's son, Prince. So that's his first kid. Then we flash forward a few years, and now Khloe is pregnant, and she has his daughter, True. And now Tristan is accused of cheating again with a bunch of women, a bunch of times. But this time it's on Khloe after photos of him creeping on girls and being PDA surface while she's pregnant.
Yes. And Khloe appears to be like not bothered by this situation, which, you know, obviously she was, but she started getting real aggressive with fans on Twitter, trying to clap back at everyone, saying, "You have no knowledge of what goes on in our household or the enormous rebuilding this takes to even coexist. I'm proud of my strength. I appreciate your opinions, and I hope you hold that same opinion to everyone else who has stayed in these situations." So, you know, she said her piece, and you know, she just wanted to move on from it, you know, and obviously she was very pregnant at the time. So maybe she was just doing whatever she had to do, you know, to get through it. But it sucks big time. So no judgments there. But she has her baby, True, and they stayed together. But one cheating scandal they didn't stay together for was involving Kylie Jenner's, and that's their sister, if you don't know. And this is Kylie's bestie / assistant / athletic line designer / influencer, which everyone in the Kardashians' life is a / and this is Jordyn Woods.
Yes. This one, like, honestly broke the world apart. So allegedly Jordan and Tristan were all over each other at an after party, and they hooked up. Like, the world fell apart, like I said. So what's the buy wheel for them? And also, like, you know, was this just like raging hormones, or did they have a little bit something more?
I mean, I don't know either of their rising, so I don't know. But we know some things, right? So we know that Jordan's South Node is conjunct Tristan's Sun in Pisces, and in synastry, the nodes tend to be like, astrologers tend to have an opinion about nodal synastry, which means that there's something there. So like the nodes tend to make things feel magnetic or destined, as well as like fraught and dire. So it's usually both, not either or. Or, I mean, I guess instead of fraught and dire, it could just be significant. But anyway, like, it doesn't seem like they had a torrid love affair, but this could really indicate, like, a sense of comfort. Maybe they'd been feeling that way around each other for, you know, a while. I'm reminded suddenly of the moment in Girls when Jessa goes to Adam's door, despite her, like, trying so hard. She says, "I've wanted this for a really long time." But the South Node is like an inherent comfort zone, and it's also a point of loss. So Tristan, was comfortable and he lost something. Also, Jordan's Neptune is exactly conjunct Tristan's North Node in Capricorn. So now we have dual nodal synastry. Neptune is like, it obscures shit. It just makes you really not know. I mean, if we're thinking of like the North Node, it's like the, what's it called? The North Node of a compass, or the North thing of a compass. This like really obscures his like direction. Also, Jordan's Mars is in Scorpio, just like Khloe, which really isn't enough information because I haven't seen his other mistresses' charts, but it is interesting to like look at. To think about.
No, that is interesting.
Yeah.
So Khloe finds out about this little situation, this little tryst, which like honestly I have to point out that tryst is in Tristan's name, which I feel like is like too perfect to be a coincidence.
Tristanon.
But anyway, Khloe is super devastated. Tristan admits to cheating on her. And then honestly, like the fallout is insane.
Yeah. So it was an even bigger deal because Jordan lived with Kylie at the time. So it was just like a breakup, an eviction. The Kardashians completely cut her off. Jordan has to move out. They all unfollow each other and post cryptic IG quotes, which they all love to do. And Khloe even like full-blown rage tweets at Jordan saying she broke up her family.
Cancer.
Yikes.
That's Cancer with a moon in Gemini.
Ooh, yeah. Gonna put them on blast on Twitter. It also like the more episodes we do on this family, the more I realize they just like love to just shit post each other, like they always put like cryptic Instagram stories up all the time. And I just feel like it's like, let's be adults. Like, it's like so absurd. But when all is said and done, Tristan and Khloe call it quits. They publicly announced their breakup. This is their first breakup. Now, it is said that they may have broken up before the whole Jordan situation, but Jordan was like the nail in the coffin for good, at least at that moment in time. So what was going on when this breakup happened?
Okay, so the Daily Mail reported it on February 17th, 2019. On this day, Venus perfected a conjunction with Saturn, and Venus is love and harmony, and Saturn is division and like the word no. They're co-present with Pluto and the South Node. Pluto relates to power and total transformations. And it's kind of a freak, but also sort of like the South Node is decrease. So all this energy is in Capricorn, which is like structure and sort of like just like doing the right thing. It just, it's really fraught. We remember what life was like then. Also, Tristan's nodal opposition was exact this day. It's like a longer, the aspect is like exact for a longer period of time. But like the nodal opposition occurs around 26 to 28, and it's like the astrological reason for the 27 club. So it's a time when like fated events reroute our lives. Like maybe something dies, maybe like you commit some sort of minor suicide in your life. Things though, sorry, whatever. I mean, like he chose to do that, right? Like his choices led to his poor behavior. But like it's like a thing too where if anyone had something really shitty happen to you at 27, it's like something happens that was always going to occur.
Damn. Well, but those close to Tristan say he's not trying to be a dick or manipulative, but that he's simply a cheater at heart. They say he doesn't care about anyone but himself. He just cares about his wants and needs in the moment.
That makes me feel crazy to hear. I guess that's what gaslighting is. Like I feel insane when you read that.
Cute.
Or said that.
I feel insane to have read it. So honestly, that is, in case you guys are, wondering, that is not an excuse. So.
Also, this is like someone close to him too saying this, It's like not even an enemy. This is just someone being like, here's my boy. This is what he's like.
Well, I mean, maybe they're like that too.
Gross.
I know. I mean, I feel like that's very like NBA basketball player. I'm sure there's like nice ones out there, but
hopefully my boyfriend Blake Griffin is good. I will choose to believe that he is.
Well, defying all logic, Khloe and Tristan get back together again after all this happened in 2020. By all accounts, the Kardashian family had forgiven Tristan and they were all fine. They gave him a second chance. And there was even talk about Khloe wanting to get pregnant again, which like, Khloe.
Remember what he does? He like cheats on pregnant women. It's like his thing.
Yeah. Maybe he hates pregnant. Is there anything in his chart that shows he hates pregnant women?
I would need at least to know his rising before I made that speculation.
Yikes. But their reunion could not go without more drama because the Kardashian quote unquote friend, Larsa Pippen, which is Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Larsa.
She's just a shit stirrer.
She sounds like a Disney villain.
Forward.
I know.
She is. She came forward to tell the world that she was actually dating Tristan before Khloe. Allegedly, Larsa said she brought Tristan to a party, introduced him to Khloe, and then he was like, peace, Larsa, I'm going to go date Khloe.
That's like an insulting story to tell about yourself. I would not tell people that story about me.
I know. What is her end game? I have no idea. But
I feel like this happened. I feel like this is a true story.
I'm sure it's true.
Maybe Larsa
wouldn't tell
is
people
the,
that
maybe Larsa is the friend who introduced them, and then they went on a quote unquote blind date.
Oh, you're probably right.
Yeah. Honestly,
anyway, Khloe denies all of this, like I said, and regardless of the drama, let's hear about what transits were happening during Khloe and Tristan's reunion.
So that was August 28th, 2020. Scott Disick commented on one of her posts on Instagram. And so people believe that is verified confirmation. So
wow. Okay.
Jupiter was retrograde conjunct the degree that Venus and Saturn were in at the breakup. Jupiter is multiplication and the word yes. Whereas, Saturn was division and the word no. So this makes things seem possible again, right? And Saturn is also at the same degree. So Saturn has transited, it's moving towards the degree that the South Node was in on the day of the breakup. So this is two things that are activated again. And this aspect, Saturn conjunct the South Node is a double negative. Is the shortest way I can think to say it. So things could be awkward, but also they're on again, right? And so Saturn in Capricorn is also exactly conjunct Tristan's North Node. And this is increased, but not without consequences. He's in the doghouse. Obviously, no one's liked him since then. And the North Node was in Gemini, exactly conjunct Khloe's moon. And this is very emotional. Again, the North Node is increased. The moons are feelings. It's could feel destined. Khloe's faith is restored. And it's especially significant since the moon rules her sun, Mercury, and Venus. So she doesn't really probably know what to do, but she believes that they're in the relationship with her heart, mind, and pussy, because that's your sun, your Mercury, and your Venus.
That's sad.
Yikes.
Well, we've all believed in something with our pussies, so.
I feel with her, though, she's just constantly getting just smacked around.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense why she's so holding on to this relationship so tightly. Well, until 2021, because they throw in the towel and break up again because it just wasn't working. A few months after that, this lady, Marilee Nichols, who was Tristan's personal trainer, came forward to just drop a bomb. I remember this day because Twitter went off the rails. But Marilee said she had, also I don't know if it's Marilee or Marilee. I'm just saying it in my awful Midwestern way. Marilee. But she said that she had a baby and she claimed that Tristan was the father. And the timeline of her giving birth and everything would mean that once again, Tristan cheated on Khloe while they were together.
Christ on a cross.
Yep.
Sad.
And Marilee's Tristan, you're the dad. I need child support. And she sues him for said child support and pregnancy-related fees. And Tristan does end up admitting to having sex with her a bunch of times, but he wants a paternity test to be sure. And this was a pretty big bombshell because it came out of nowhere right before the holidays. Everyone was talking about it. Tristan was tweeting a bunch of mean shit at Marilee. It was kind of messed up, but what's going on?
That's so unattractive.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to retire at the end of the season and I'm going to be broke. So you're going to sue me for paternity and I'm not going to be able to give you any money. And it's
do another season.
Shut up.
It's so embarrassing.
Shut up.
It's so embarrassing.
Also,
that's pure desperation.
Yeah.
Plus, everyone knows you're supposed to invest your money. How do you think these rich
where did
people
it all
stay?
go?
Yeah. Probably on hoes.
Oh, shit.
It doesn't seem like he was
Spend your money
paying.
on hoes,
The problem is that there are no more hoes. Everyone just fucks people for free. We need to bring back the hoes. Anyway, okay, so this was the day before the final solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which capped a story that began at the end of May 2020, which was a few months, again, before they officially started. Maybe that was around when they started talking again. I don't know. But the eclipse was in Sagittarius conjunct Mercury, and eclipses are sudden beginnings and sudden endings, and Mercury's information. And in Sagittarius, Mercury is not interested in details. It's looking at the whole picture. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. At the time, Jupiter was in Aquarius, which is a sign that's very significant for both Khloe and Tristan. Remember, it's her rising, and it's Tristan's moon and Saturn. So I think this might permanently restrict his access to Khloe since it's her ascendant.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah. Liberation through restriction.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Let her
freeing
free.
Khloe. Truly. God, let her go.
So Tristan takes the paternity test. And it probably should come as no surprise to anyone, but he was the father of Marilee's baby. It was like 100% certain.
He should cut a deal with Maury.
I know.
Oh my God, could you imagine? I bet Maury was like, fuck, I wish. Could you imagine?
He get his money back. People,
it?
yeah, I don't know.
That's true.
Maury just reveals all of his children.
Oh my God.
And then Tristan goes on to write this like, I don't even know how to describe it, just like this lame ass Instagram story apology to Khloe, being like, you don't deserve the heartache and the humiliation I've caused you. Which, like, yeah, obviously, like, get out of here.
Yeah. No one gives a fuck. Shut up.
Obviously. Yeah.
Bring back the hose and shut up.
Pay us money. Close your mouth.
Yes. All of the above. But Khloe was very upset, obviously. She did not respond publicly to Tristan's Instagram apology or acknowledge the situation, but sources close to her said she was pretty unsettled by the whole thing.
Thank God.
Yeah. Khloe has kept quiet about the whole situation, but someone who has not is her ex-husband, Lamar Odom.
Oh my God, yes. Lamar is so petty about this, and I love it. But if you didn't know, Lamar Odom, he's a former pro basketball player. He was married to Khloe for a few years. They married after 1 month of dating and even had a reality show together. But eventually they got divorced after being married for 4 years.
Wild. I totally forgot they got married that quickly. But it's been alleged that Khloe's relationship with Lamar started in a similar way to her relationship with Tristan.
Shady.
In Lamar's book, From Darkness to Light, he said he was dating actress Taraji P. Henson, which crazy. I totally didn't know this. When he met Khloe, and he didn't know how to tell Taraji he was falling in love with Khloe. Which, you know, that might shed a little bit of light. Like, do you think they were actually dating for a month? Or was it just a month between when he broke up with Taraji and when he started dating Khloe? But I digress. Regardless of how they met, let's look into Khloe and Lamar's bi-wheel.
What's up with Lamar and Larsa both telling on themselves?
I know.
Like, because so you're telling that Khloe, okay, so Khloe's a bitch. You were cheating on Taraji Henson. Fuck you.
Taraji
P.
God.
Okay, I'm furious right now. So Lamar's sun was conjunct Khloe's Mars and Scorpio. And the best part about this aspect is that it can be super fun. Mars rules Scorpio, so maybe Khloe had like a hold on Lamar, and maybe that felt really special. But the worst part about this aspect is that the couple can like start competing with one another, and then that would obviously present problems. I mean, it could also be like a fun competition, but then, you know, things can always sour. But they also both have their suns in water signs. Khloe's a Cancer sun, Lamar's a Scorpio sun, and this really adds affinity. It's that trine that she also has with Tristan, remember? And they both have Gemini moons. Wow. So having your moon in the same sign as your partner can create like an automatic affinity and understanding, like you're both processing emotion at the same time. And the transits to your moon will occur at the same time. So like you'll be really, you know, getting each other all the time. But in Gemini, this could, in every sign, there would be, you know, pluses and minuses. In Gemini, the minus is that, like, emotions can go unprocessed. They might be always discussed and never fully filtered through, like, your body. So things can never really be settled, even if, like, you talk about things to no end, but you never really, like, because they don't really know how to push it through. Couples therapy, obviously,
they can't come to a solution.
Right. You think they'll, but, like, they always find the best solution. It's just that just never really gets through. You can't really eye the needle, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Is that the right way to say it? Anyway, Lamar's
I've never heard that.
Well, or thread the needle. Like there's, you know, it's like the thread is thicker than
Threading
the eye
of the needle.
There we go.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to.
It's very difficult. Lamar's Mars is conjunct Khloe's descendant in Leo, and Mars and the descendant can be empowering. It can also be exhausting and thus disempowering. And like, I feel like that was both of them were true for the relationship. Like maybe, you know, he ended up just like exhausting Khloe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he had a lot of other He had a lot of other issues going on.
Exhausting issues.
I was just gonna say he has so
Issues.
many Virgo things happening.
Yeah.
Jupiter
A lot of
and
addiction.
Virgo really speaks to addiction,
Yeah.
It's a sign of health, and like they're very obsessive. They can get really hard on
And
themselves
it's-
and when they're not perfect.
It's exhausting to both be dealing with an addict and being an addict yourself. So I can't imagine how that
What is
was
Khloe addicted
for
to?
them. No, she's exhausted
Oh,
from
right.
dealing with him.
Right.
And
He's
yeah.
so there's just that tension, which I guess
And
never
it's in
goes
the 8th
processed.
house too.
Yeah. Oh,
And he almost died a bunch of times.
that's really sad.
I know. So these days, Lamar is known to, just like, never mind his addiction. Let's talk
He's
about
fine
him.
now. He's
Let's
fine
talk
now.
about him talking
Yeah, he wrote a
shit
book.
on Twitter. Yeah, from darkness to light. But these days, Lamar is known to periodically leave thirsty comments on Khloe's Instagram photos and get into various fights with Tristan, which I
do love
on
that.
social media.
Good for Khloe.
I bet she kind of likes that. I would like that. I'd be like, that's my ex-husband.
Of course she does. She for sure likes it. I mean, she's into these like fraught relationships, right? I think a lot of women can
Yeah.
relate. That would at least be the best part of it. Hey, they're fighting about me. These losers are fighting about me again.
God.
These
But yeah.
losers.
Lamar recently called Tristan corny for cheating on Khloe. It made statements saying that Khloe deserves the world and he wants to reconnect with her as friends. But the statement's also bizarre, given that Lamar has also admitted to cheating on Khloe a bunch of times. So
Yeah.
girl can't catch a break.
No, like he's not wrong, but it's also like you did the same thing. But is this really the end for Tristan and Khloe? Some people are not so sure. That's because Kanye, when he put out that video about how he wasn't allowed to go to his daughter Chicago's birthday party, when he was talking about that, he mentioned that Tristan was allowed to go, which people were like, what?
I mean, I think it's
And
a great point, to be honest.
I know, it is true. But that's what I like about Kanye when he goes on these like weird sprees is he just like lays out like everyone else's bullshit too. Where
Yeah.
it's like when the person gave him, I think it was Travis Scott gave him the address.
Yeah.
He was like, thank you, Travis, for giving me the address.
I love
Oh my
him.
God.
He's a pure. His rages are pure of heart, and I think that if people are honest with themselves, they can tell that.
But he followed Kanye. Kanye then followed it up with a video at the birthday party where you could see a person that definitely looked like Tristan, causing people to speculate they might be together again.
Poor Chloe's
I
like,
love.
leave me
Oh
out
my
of
God.
this.
So that was around January 15th, 2022. So just so our listeners know the precise timeline of where we're at here. So we've gathered that this train wreck of a relationship truly never stops giving the drama. So here we are, prediction time. Dana, what do you think's going to happen? Will they get back together? What's the deal?
So the short answer is no, but we have a lot more information.
Wow.
Snaps for Khloe.
So
Good for you.
they got together in 2016 when Jupiter was opposite Neptune, and this year Jupiter is conjunct Neptune. Jupiter's like feeling good, and Neptune is delusion and inebriation. When these planet aspects each other, it's like delusion. I honestly, though, I'm just thinking of this as like a cycle for the timeline. This is one cycle that's closing, or that's like actually still in effect. It's just one cycle that shows that like big changes are happening. I mostly think, though, okay, so like my major point is that the reunion was contained within the Gemini and Sagittarius eclipse timeline. And like when the eclipse ended, or the eclipse series ended, a major chapter of their story did, and like maybe it was the grand ending. It was where Khloe's moon is, and like her moon rules so many of her placements. Also at the time, like Saturn is in Aquarius, so like I just think that was the major thing. Mars retrogrades, though, also in Gemini from October 30th through January 12th, 2023, and it will be in Gemini for 8 months. So if anyone thinks that shit was weird last month, shit's going to be louder and just very weird for that time. Anyway, though, it will cross, because Tristan has his Mars in Gemini, and so it'll cross his Mars 3 times. So he gets 3 Mars retrogrades on September 29th,
Wow.
November 28th, and Mars 2nd, 2023. So if you're following him, those would be dates to look at. This can result in more stories or information coming out about his like infidelity, since Mars relates to sex, and like Mars retrograde might make that come out anyway, but he also has his Mars in Gemini, which is the planet of 2, so it could relate to like sexual duplicity. Also, Mars retrograded in Sagittarius to Scorpio in 2016, so this is another cycle from that year that's like opposite, because Mars retrograde in Gemini is opposite Sagittarius. And so like events from that, like they could sort of either of the, if like this year might be a lot like 2016, or just have like events that are closing or like, you know, sort of like continuing. And then finally, Saturn will conjunct Khloe's ascendant on January 23rd, 2023, but also like it'll be closely conjunct. It stations retrograde on her descendant or within like a degree of it in May. So it's just sort of like, actually it might station in June. Anyway, it stations retrograde this year on her ascendant, and Saturn in the ascendant is like growing up. So this could be a time where she's actually, when Saturn is retrograde, it'll be like her going through everything again. Maybe that would be a time that they might get back together if anything were to happen. But I think that she's done. I think that by the time Saturn like crosses her ascendant for good, she's going to be like, I've grown up. I realize that I really want to be at least free from this situation. Hopefully, you know, in a good relationship if she wants. But that's what Saturn on the ascendant is all about: adulthood, maturity.
Nice.
Yay.
Damn.
Good for her.
Right. She deserves it. Let's hope for more growing up and less fillers for Khloe Kardashian.
And all of us.
Well, fingers crossed for Khloe girl. But next week, we're going to talk about Alec Baldwin and the shooting that happened on his film Rust. There is still shit coming out about this, so it's going to be a juicy one.
Hilarious husband.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Yes.
Alec has a podcast.
Yeah.
What if we invited him on
I would.
to talk?
His ego's way too big, but I would love that.
We should. We should just
Have both of them
post
on.
all of the celebrities we invite to be on the
Yeah.
podcast. And
Oh, yeah.
By
just
the way,
send
to us.
emails.
Which is all celebrities. Email us if you want to be on the podcast.
yes.
Okay.
Well, with that, I'm
I'm
Elise.
Dana.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Allegedly Astrology.
Bye.
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 See ya. What do I want to be
Welcome
ya?
back. Welcome back. Welcome back.